What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making a video on the newest addition to my Honda fleet here. This is a 2023 Honda Rancher ATV. And if you didn't know this about me, I haven't really made too many videos about this topic or anything, but I've pretty much been riding dirt bikes and things since I was about 10 years old. And I've always had, a Honda dirt bike around until a few months ago when I decided to sell mine for various reasons that I won't get into. But pretty much ever since then, I've wanted to get an ATV instead. And my dad has had one for like the past 10 or 11 years, and I've really enjoyed riding it. And so I decided to go ahead and pick this one up to kind of kickstart this part of my life again. So like I mentioned before, this is a 2023 Honda Rancher 4x4 ES model, which stands for electric shift. This is one of many different configurations you can get for these ATVs. This is a little bit more on the base model side. The only options it has is the four-wheel drive and the electric shift, which is really all I wanted. Now this thing is really, really nice. I picked it up a couple of days ago, or actually yesterday, and yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit short walk around of it, and then we'll start it up, and that'll be pretty much it. This is just going to be a quick little video. But yeah, my dad has a 2014 Honda Recon 250, which is a little bit smaller, and it also is old school in that it's, carbureted, drum brakes in the front, that kind of thing. It's just a very straightforward, old school Honda ATV. And I decided if I was going to be spending the money, I wanted something a little bit more, modern. And so this is really nice. It has disc brakes in the front. That's pretty cool. It has the electric shift, of course, which my dad's does also, but it's a 5-speed, no clutchless transmission. And as for the engine, it's really nice too. It has a 420cc liquid cooled engine. It has electronic fuel injection. It's got four-wheel drive, like I mentioned. It is pretty damn nice. And it also has a nice cluster up here that gives you a bunch of information, which we'll get into. But walking around the ATV here, you can see it does have front and rear racks. This is more of it's a recreation, but also a utility ATV. So it does have some nice utility features to it. If we go up in the front here, you can see we have a little storage compartment. It's not like watertight, or actually, nope. I take that back. That is a rubber seal right there. So you could presumably put like your phone or something in here. Obviously not something you care too much about, but just kind of keep small items right there. That's cool. So there's that. If we pop this cover off, you can see we can get to the radiator and the coolant there. So that's where you fill up the coolant in that the reserve tank over there, and that's the radiator cap, of course. Not sure what this connector here is. It looks like it's not really plugged into anything, but I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to tell me. So we'll put that guy back on. Going down the front here, you can see we have a nice like crash bar in the front, and then we also have two headlights, of course. It does have low and high beams, so that's nice. Going down around the side here, you can see we have some Maxxis off-road tires. I believe all Honda ATVs have come with these tires for a very long time. But moving inside here, we have adjustable shocks all the way around, so you can adjust the preload on them depending on what type of ride you want. I believe they're just on the standard setting right now, and I'm pretty happy with that. So looking up there, you can see there is the coolant reserve tank. And then going a little bit deeper in here, you can see these cute little CV axles for the front differential there. And then if you zoom in a little bit back there, you can see the coolant hoses that go to this small radiator. And something that's just really entertaining to me, being a car person, is just how small everything is on this thing. The throttle body is like this big. But anyways, let's go ahead and walk around the other way. So as you can see here, we just have the foot brake, and then this plastic panel here comes off, and you can get more access to the engine and things for doing oil changes and the like. So moving around the back, larger rear tire, as most ATVs do have. And then if we come around the back side here, here's a rear view. So like I said, we have these little reflectors everywhere, just for visibility, I suppose. We have a nice rack in the back, and I believe you can actually get like Honda, like storage accessories and things that bolt onto that. Probably not really looking into that right now, but it's kind of a nice feature to have. If we go back here to the brake light, you can see we can just pull this guy off, and then we can lift this down, and then we have a small storage compartment in there. And then you might be able to see there is the battery for the ATV there. So Go ahead and put this back up, put this little clasp back on, and of course, you know, muffler with a spark arrestor, so this has to be removed and cleaned periodically. I think it's every 600 miles. So there's that. And then we just have a little Rancher logo that says fuel injection and electric shift. And then, yeah, back here, I got the solid rear axle model. They do make one with independent rear suspension, but like I said, I'm not going to be doing anything too crazy with this one, so didn't really feel like that was necessary. We have a single drum brake in the back, and then, like I mentioned, there are dual 190 millimeter discs in the front. They are drilled. They're, like I said, really small. It's pretty funny. But then if we look up in there, you can see the tiny little drive shaft that this longitudinally mounted engine puts out there. And then, of course, we have a little tow hitch here. I'm actually going to buy a little tow ball because we have a couple of things around the property that, you know, can be towed around. But there you have it, going around this way. Like I said, pretty much the same thing. If we go over here, you can see we have a little panel for the oil fill, so I can just pull this off real quick, and there is our oil dipstick, and then you can get a small view of the engine there. But there you have it. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on to continue. All right, so like I mentioned before, we have a nice cluster, which we'll get to in a minute. Here is our 2- and 4-wheel drive shifter selector there. I believe it is electronic, but all you got to do is have it in neutral, I believe. There's our fuel fill over here. I believe this does have like a 3.9 gallon fuel tank, so that's nice. And then over here we have our electric shift buttons. We got our emergency stop switch, engine start button, and then the headlight controls. And then back here, something that's really nice compared to the older Honda ATVs is you don't have to, you know, hold the parking brake and put that little pin in and stuff to shift it into reverse. This just has an electronic switch. So no matter what gear you're in, you can just pull this switch and then hit the down arrow, and then it'll shift it into reverse. So that's really nice. Over here, of course, we have our throttle and our front brakes. It's got hydraulic front brakes, of course, like I said, disc brakes, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and turn the ignition on. So there you have it. It says, "Hello, Honda." There's my fuel gauge. It's looking a little bit low, but as you can see, this thing does have a check engine light because this is a California model, and it does have evaporative emissions control systems on it. So pretty crazy for an ATV to have that. Even the non-California models have that though, because, you know, there's like I said, it's PGM FI and all that good stuff. But we also have a high coolant temperature warning indicator there. We've got our gear position up here in the top left, and then reverse and neutral indicators. Now, when you start it up, it does default to the fuel gauge here, but as you can see, I can change it. So there is the clock. It's about 10 a.m. It does have 16 miles on the odometer. That's usually where I keep it, just because, you know, I like to watch the miles count up. Same on my cars, that kind of thing. Moving on, we have a trip, so it actually has 16.8 on it. And then moving on, the coolant temperature is low because it's, you know, cold and I haven't started it yet. And then it's got 1.1 engine hours on it. So there you have it. And then if we move on, here's our maintenance. The first maintenance interval is due at 100 miles. It's just an oil change. But then I think thereafter, it's every 600 miles. Moving on, that's just the remaining hours left. So it's 100 miles or 20 hours to the first service. And that's it. We're back to the fuel gauge. So there you have it. I guess I can go ahead and start it up for you guys real quick, and that'll be the end of the video. So it's really nice. EFI starts right up. Don't be having to mess with carburetors or anything like that. So that's pretty much it, guys. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.